Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true. Troops charged after allegedly threatening to kill woman. Detectives assigned to the St. Catherine North Police Division charged a 33-year-old after he allegedly threatened to kill a woman on Sunday, December 11, 2022. Charged is Charles McDonald, otherwise called Troops of Shelter Rock, Spanish Town, St. Catherine. McDonald was charged on Friday, January 27, with possession of prohibited weapon, using a firearm to commit a felony, and assault at common law. Reports are that about 3:10 p.m., the complainant was at home when she saw Donald in her yard. He then pointed a firearm at her and threatened to kill her. A report was made to the police, an investigation launched, and McDonald was arrested. Following a question and answer interview in the presence of his attorney, McDonald was charged. His court date has not been finalized. Nurse charged with attempted murder in Kingston. A man has been charged with attempted murder in connection with an incident on Beeson Street in Kingston on Friday, January 20. Charged is 35-year-old Sadie Rampersard, otherwise called Coley, a registered nurse of Walkway 34, Brayton Phase 2, Portmore, St. Catherine. Reports are that about 10:30 p.m., Coley held a woman by her hair and used a knife to stab her several times. The woman was assisted to hospital where she was treated. The circumstances that led to the dispute was unclear. The incident was reported to the police and an investigation launched. On Friday, January 27, Cooley was charged after a question and answer session in the presence of his attorney. He is scheduled to appear before the Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court on Thursday, January 31. Kingston man charged with murder after stabbing incident. A 20-year-old man has been charged with murder in relation to an incident on Greenwich Street, Denhamtown, Kingston 14 on Sunday, January 22nd. Daniel Dolan, otherwise called Kevon, of England Street, Denhamtown, Kingston 14, was charged with the murder of 31-year-old Ricardo Robinson, otherwise called Slapway or Travis, of Victoria Street, Denhamtown. Reports from the Denhamtown police are that about 12:45 p.m., Daniel and Robinson had an argument resulting in a fight, during which Robinson used a stone to hit Daniel. In retaliation, Daniel allegedly used the scissors to stab Robinson. The police were alerted and both men were assisted to hospital, where Robinson was pronounced dead and Daniel was admitted for treatment. An investigation was launched and Daniel was later arrested. He was charged after a question and answer session in the presence of his attorney. His court date has not been finalized. Security Minister commends security forces for continued success in disrupting illegal gun trade following seizure in St. James. National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang says the security forces continue to reap success in disrupting the activities of criminals involved in the trading of illegal guns. He was reaching to January 27 seizure of over 20 guns and 50 rounds of ammunition at the Freeport Wharf in Montego Bay, St. James. Dr. Chang commended the security force for a job well done. He said the police will be carrying out further investigations aimed at locating and apprehending the criminals involved.
Instance reports that the Montego Bay Freeport, a particular warehouse, and the police was called and have been able to identify in the investigation 22 firearms illegally brought to the country, 21 Glocks and a small 38 copper. I want to commend the effort of the entire security team involved. There was a custom enforcement team, the local CIB, which was called in, and since then the CTOC team has come in, along with some support from the ATF agents who are in Jamaica. I want to commend the collaborative effort and to say to the country, the security team working in collaboration will continue to find this kind of firearm. The criminals think they're smart, and they are smart, but our professional teams are better, and we'll find the firearm, will disrupt the gangs, and these people are killing Jamaicans. It's a tough fight, and the government is giving the security team as much support as they can, and I think the success we are having right now reflects the success of the investment and the effort to coordinate the entire operational teams, critical teams were customs, police, CTOC, and our supporting partners to find the arms and seek to identify the sources and their destination. Police has a good idea of all of this aspect of it, but we'll be doing detailed investigation to apprehend the criminals who are seeking to undermine and damage Jamaican society. We'll find them, we're going to lock them up for a long time, and we're going to disrupt the trading routes into Jamaica. When you have active like this, you're not sure there is increased number leaving or is increased kind of for them. And the teams have been improving over the years. Intelligence is getting better, and the officers themselves are getting smarter, looking at the unusual spots, and they're finding more firearms. So it can be wonderful when you see this kind of activity. Not necessarily more leaving, but just better work, more effective work by the police.
MOE to provide additional psychological support to retirement primary school principal who was attacked and chopped last year. Education Minister Fever Williams says her ministry will ensure that the principal, who was chopped at the retirement primary school in St. Elizabeth last year, received the necessary psychological support. Principal Anne-Marie Terralong is recovering at home after being chopped in the head and upper body by a man she was trying to remove from the school on October 21. School board chairman Herman Samuels had previously indicated that while the principal's physical wounds are healing, the emotional trauma remains. When asked by reporters about the level of mental support being offered to the school's principal, Mrs. Williams says support should have already been given, but if more help is needed, the necessary steps will be taken to ensure this happens. When asked about the perimeter wall, which both staff and parents requested for the school, Mrs. Williams says it is now at the procurement stage. In the wake of the incident, a security post with personnel was established at the school.
The regional director, education officers, guidance council, and so on should have rallied. And if that's not the case, obviously I will go back and try to find out exactly what has happened. I will personally reach out to the teachers, to the board, and ensure, if it hasn't happened already, that it happens. We have to provide that kind of support when persons go through traumatic situations, and we do have an infrastructure within the education sector that can provide that service. And if there's need for external professionals to be brought on board, we also facilitate that. I was told that persons from our building department did go out to take the measurements, and so it might just be a matter of the procurement process. I will follow up on that as well, because obviously there's an urgent need for that to get done.
The government of Jamaica is working deliberately to improve legislation to deter individuals from committing crimes.
The extreme situation in Jamaica warrants a deviation from the conventional sentences imposed in other jurisdictions to go beyond the average mandatory minimum sentences. An increase in the mandatory minimum sentence, as well as amendments to the section of the Act treating with the possibility of parole, that is Section 31C, Madam Speaker, for murder, are seen as legislative strategies to treat with the soaring crime rate negatively impacting the country, whilst ensuring that the applicable penalty matches the severity of the crime. In this regard, Madam Speaker, the government is proposing to amend the OAPA as follows. In Section 3(1)(b) of the OAPA, Offences Against the Person Act, to increase the mandatory minimum sentence of imprisonment from 15 years to 45 years. In Section 3(1)(c), regarding eligibility for parole for capital murder, Section 1(c)(a), increase the mandatory minimum sentence to be served before being eligible for parole from 20 years to 50 years. For non-capital murder, Madam Speaker, where the sentence given was life imprisonment, increase the mandatory minimum sentence to be served before being eligible for parole from 15 years to 40 years. Yes. And where the sentence given was a term of years, increase the mandatory minimum sentence to be served before being eligible for parole from 10 years to 35 years. The government, Madam Speaker, is firmly of the view that these proposals achieve the objective of ensuring that the potential sentence matches the seriousness and gravity of the offence, whilst remaining within the realm of constitutionality by preserving some degree of discretion in the courts and allowing the possibility of a subsequent reconsideration of the court's position. It ensures, Madam Speaker, that in the reasonable and deserving cases, the circumstances of one case could be reconsidered to determine the appropriateness of continued incarceration. In very short term, Madam Speaker, a bill will be laid in the House reflecting the government's position on the appropriate penalties to be applied to the offence of murder. Madam Speaker, a clear and unmistakable message must be sent to potential killers that their wanton and heartless act will be met with disgust, repugnance, and a lengthy period of incarceration.
Please remember to subscribe,